Good morning, everyone. Welcome in and welcome to the people watching online. If you guys will stand and worship with us this morning.
Oh, how high would I climb mountains if the mountains were where you hide? Oh, how far would I scale valleys if you grace the other side? Oh, how long have I chased rivers from lowly seas to where they rise, against the rush of grace descending from the source of its supply. 'Cause in the highlands and the heartache, you're neither more or less inclined. I would search and stop at nothing. You're just not that hard to find. I will praise you on the mountain, and I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. I will praise you in the valleys all the same. No less God within the shadows, no less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is, in the highlands and the heartache all the same. Oh, how far beneath your glory does your kindness extend the path, from where your feet rest on the sunrise to where you sleep the sinner's past. And oh, how fast will you come running, if just to shadow me through the night, and trace my steps through all my failures, and walk me out the other side. For who could dare ascend that mountain, that valleyed hill called Calvary, but for the one I call Good Shepherd, who like a lamb was slain for me. gestures we call grace, a mighty river flowing upwards from a deep but empty grave. I will praise you on the mountain, and I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. I will praise you in the valleys of the sin. No less God within the shadows, no less faithful to do whatever you want to. I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender.
Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for bringing everyone here this morning, God. I pray over everyone's week that you lead everyone in your direction, God, that you place people in our lives, God, that we can teach about you, Lord. I ask that you make room in each of our hearts, God. Show this that it's only in you, God, that we survive each and every day. I ask that you open our hearts for your words this morning and that you speak directly to us. It's in your heavenly name I pray. Amen.
Glorious morning, everyone. Good morning. Morning. Well, for those of you who don't know me now, my name is Mario Davis, and I'm the associate pastor here at the Cross. I just want to thank everyone in the room for joining us, and those of you online as well. And I just want to say, if you are a guest, please fill out our connection card, which you'll see right behind me, like a link to the website for it. Or if you're in need of prayer or just interested in serving, all of these options can be found on our website or app. Also, regarding the tithe, we believe giving is an act of worship that leads to our joy, and giving back 10% is a loving act of obedience to God. We also have many options to give back to God by using our website, our app, like again, still behind me, or my favorite, you just go to that little basket in the bag and you just turn your wallet upside down and just shake as hard as you can. I'm just kidding. Also, we believe in recognizing the death of Christ each week with communion. We perform communion as a church family. So if you are a Christian, we invite you to join us in that moment. We'll do so by first handing out the cup to everyone. I'm sorry, I'm getting out of order. We'll hand out the bread first to everyone, and then you'll be instructed to take the cup. After communion, we'll excuse the 5th grade and down for children's services. And I'm just going to read over some scripture for us today. And that is from Romans 12, verses 1 and 2. And that says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what is God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." And I just wanted to focus on, as I told the first service, the part in verse 1 about his true and proper worship. Because, as I said in first service, give it up another hand to our worship team. They do a fantabulous job up here each and every Sunday. Yes. Thanks to our mistress of music and the snake shakers up here. No, don't. That's not the real name, everybody. I made that same joke with first service. That's not their name. Then you'll start getting messages. And so, but I just want to say, when we think about worship, though, our minds think about the worship team or the worship music, but I want us to focus on the word of worship, because worship doesn't stop when the music stops. Worship starts every day, and it does so when you open your eyes, every day. And so I just want to make sure I make a note of that for you today, because I know you might be like, oh, yeah, of course, Pastor. I know I'm supposed to worship the Lord every day and everything I do. And you know what? That's right. I'm glad you know that. But you still need a reminder. We all need a reminder, a constant reminder of what we need to do for the Lord. And that is, I'm just going to list off a few things. Worship is loving God with all you have. Worship is trusting God even in moments you don't understand. Worship is wholehearted obedience to God. Worship is when we praise and thank him through all the troubles of our lives. I tell you, that can be difficult, as like the last couple of weeks have been really rough on the Davis family, so I can tell you right now, it can be difficult in those times. But in those moments, you still need to rejoice and rejoice to the Lord. Worship is also when we use our God-given abilities to glorify his name. And you may think to yourself, I don't have any abilities, Pastor. What are you talking about? You're up there preaching or using communion. Ooh. If you make money, be a giver. That's how you worship God. And when people ask you, well, why did you do this for? Because the Lord commanded me to. The Lord loves me, and I love you by the gift I give you. You might be thinking, I'm an accountant. What do I do? That's not. Thank the Lord when you do that job every day. Thank you, Lord, for giving me a logical and numbers mindset that allows me to do this job and do this job well to glorify your name. I can therefore do this accounting for other people and show them how they could be saving or managing their money better. You think to yourself, well, I'm just a runner. How's that work? You see these famous TV runners on here who run? When you become famous or have a moment where you just have a moment to just describe why you're so good at running, glorify the Lord. Everything we do is worship. Everything we do can be done to glorify the Lord. So I just pray today that we remember in all that we do, it is worship. From morning to night, open of eyes to close of eyes, it is worship. So let us pray, church. I just want to make sure we all had that reminder today. Heavenly Father, I just pray today, Lord, that we all remember that all that we do for you is worship. You are glorified through it. The gifts that you give us help show it. And I pray that we just continue to be a light in this world. And that if we have moments to ourselves where we think, is that weird? It's okay. As Christians in this world, we're supposed to be weird. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to stand out. So I pray that whenever we do these moments, that we can truly glorify your name, Lord, from the little things to the big things. We remember it all comes back to you. Thank you so much for sending your son to be the perfect example of all of this. For he stood out too, and he was our perfect example to show us how to do it. We love you, and we thank you for your grace. And it's in your son's precious name we all say, amen.
It's a wonderful day, church. Amen. I'm so glad you're here in God's house together as a family. I want to welcome those that are online watching and joining us today. We love you. We're so glad you're with us. And this morning we get to do what we're about to do to honor the death of Christ and what he's done for us on the cross. And so we do believe this bread in our hands, that it does represent his body. And we celebrate it now by partaking together as a family. The Bible teaches us that without the shedding of blood, there'll be no forgiveness of sin. This morning, we do believe this cup does represent the blood of Christ, and we celebrate it now by partaking together as a family. Amen. Right. It's our time of transition. Miss Jessie Wallace, our children's minister, will meet your children in the back of the room there and get them where they're going. So any child that's up to the 5th grade is welcome to join back there. Once they're rallied there, we're going to say a quick prayer and get them where they're going. So if you'll join me, we'll say a prayer together and ask God to watch over these as they leave. Father, we love you. We thank you for our children. They're amazing. They teach us so much, and we're so blessed to have so many. I pray that we would really just do the best we can with them every Sunday to give them our all and to teach them your love and your truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We love you. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen. I want to invite you to join me in the scriptures this morning. We're going to be in the Gospel of Matthew. And if you'll turn to Matthew chapter 25, we're going to be in the 14th through 18th verse together. Your Bible in that section might have a title that says the parable of the bags of gold or a story of investment, depending on what translation or version you have. But we're going to be studying briefly this morning the parable of the bags of gold that Jesus tells. And for time purposes, we're going to read just a small section of it and then talk about the whole story. And so we're going to read the beginning of it. And as we do each week as an act of worship with our bodies in honor of God's word, join me by standing. We're going to read verses 14 through 18. Jesus is speaking these words and telling this very famous story I'm sure that many of us are familiar with. And here is what is written. It says, "Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. And then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gave 5 bags more. And so also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money." This is the word of the Lord. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you. This story that we're looking at this morning is a build off of where we were last week preaching in our sermon about hard work and you and I understanding that God has put us here for a purpose, and we're just going to keep building upon that this week. This story is one I know that you're very familiar with, so a lot of you guys that are Bible scholars can just tune out, right? And don't have to worry about anything, amen? So, but no, I pray that even though this is a familiar story, that this morning you can be a sponge and soak it up and maybe see it from a new perspective. But my key for you today, and what I really want you to understand, is that this story has so much truth to it, but I'm going to really try to focus on a couple of really big things from the story. And the first and foremost thing I want to say to you is that every one of you in this room, every single one of you, I don't care what age you are, I don't care what season of your life you're in, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care if this is your first time at our church or you've been going here for 17 years. Every single one of you in this room, you have been given something by God and you've been entrusted with it. You have been given something by God, and that is a life, that is your resources, that is what you have in your world that God has given you, no matter how minuscule you might think it might be, or how little it might be to you, or how big it might be to you. God has entrusted you with something very special, every single one of you. And this story is about investment. It's about you and I understanding that God has given you something according to your abilities, and He wants you to do something with it to advance His kingdom. Amen? And so my hope and my desire for you, church, this morning is that you and I would surrender to the truth that God has given you something, and He wants you to use that. He's entrusted you with it to bring about growth and to bring about just blessing the world around you. This story tells us that truth, that you and I have been entrusted with something, and we are asked by God, a responsibility of ours is that He has delegated this to us to do something big with it. Amen? And so looking at the very beginning of the story, we'll talk about the good guys first. Is that okay? Right? We have the good guys, right? The 2 men that were given the 5 bags of gold, the one that was given the 3 bags of gold. Jesus tells us clearly that in this story, that the one with the 5 bags of gold, it says he went immediately, right? And he did something. He went immediately. He didn't waste time. He went immediately and did something with what the master had given him and what he had trusted him with. And he trusted that God had trusted him. He trusted that his master had trusted him to do something to get return on the gift that he had given him. And so with the 5 bags of gold, he doubled what had been given to him. And what does the master say to him in the story? Well done, right? Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been given a little, and now I'm going to give you a lot more. That's what he says. But the same story is true for the one that got the 3 bags of gold as well, right? The word tells us clearly that the one that had the 3 bags of gold had the same exact thing that had happened to him, or the 2 bags of gold, I keep saying 3, so just forgive me, all right, okay? But the 2 bags of gold, right? Same thing. I doubled what you gave me. I made the most of what you gave me, and I gained 2 more. And the master says the same thing to him. Well done. Great job. You've been entrusted with a little. I'm going to trust you with more. This is the story. Whether you had the 5 or the 2 or whatever, the master is blessing and showing that he is pleased with the work that these 2 have put in. Are you with me this morning? All right? Very simple math here. Investment, going out, doubling what has been given to them. And then we look at this one church that has been given the 1 bag, right? The one that has been given the 1 bag. And we are given a very, very clear picture of what this one person did in the story. This person, please hear it, this person lived in fear, right? This person lived cautiously. This person was scared that he might disappoint the master. This person just got by. That's probably how I describe it. They just got by. And Jesus gave us a very, very vivid picture that this person that had the 1 bag of gold, they dug a hole, right? And they put it in the ground to protect it, to keep it safe. And the statement I can make to you about this person is that they stayed the same. There was no return. There was nothing that came forth from what had been entrusted to them. They buried what God had given to them. They just got by. And when the master returned, the master was not happy, all right? Jesus did not go to seminary, all right? They teach you how to preach sermons in seminary, and Jesus crash-landed this sermon closing, I promise you, all right? There was no good feelings at the end of this story, okay? He would have failed the test, right? I mean, if you were at your seminary class and you ended the sermon with weeping and gnashing of teeth, your professor would probably be like, let's make that a little more, softer landing, But that's how the story ends. I mean, the master returns, and this servant that had the 1 bag of gold says, hey, I was scared. I didn't do anything with what you gave me. I didn't want you to be mad at me, basically. I knew you were a hard man, and I knew you, you might, be upset with me, so I just hid what you gave me. I didn't do anything. And Jesus just tells the story very, very vividly and says, this servant was called wicked and lazy, all right? Wicked and lazy. I always joke, but some of us need to put these, like the Hobby Lobby scriptures, on our walls, The Mardell scripture. We need to put this on our wall. Wouldn't that be great in your dining room? Anyway, that's not in my notes. I'm just seeing if y'all are listening, okay? But, it's like you read we like the flowery verses, and we liked all the beautiful things that Jesus says, that we have to have faith like a child, and we love the Beatitudes and all this. But Jesus said this very quote, that this servant was wicked and lazy. They did not do what they were asked to do. And then Jesus tells the story and just closes it and says that this servant was worthless and he needs to be cast out. And he says that he will be in the darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right? That's how he ends it. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the parable. And so this morning, y'all going to have some lunch now, right? Y'all ready for lunch? We'll just end on that, right? But that's how he ends the story. That's how he ends the parable. It's not a pretty ending. And I want to talk specifically today about that one that had the 1 bag of gold, the one that lived in fear, the one that lived cautiously, the one that was lazy, and even as Jesus said, the one that was perhaps even, as a word we don't really use a lot, the one that was wicked, the one that just got by, that dug the hole, that stayed the same, that was just scared to disappoint. And I say that to you, we're going to focus on the one, is because I think that one of our big problems that we need to address in the room today is this. And I think it's a problem that I struggle with. It's a problem that I think many of us have to just deal with right now in this moment. I think the Holy Spirit wants to deal with this in our hearts, is that often in our world that we live in, we are obsessed and we are ate up with living from big moment to big moment in our lives. Okay? And I want you to hang with me on why I'm saying that to you. We are obsessed with living big moment to big moment. We want to live from the next big event to the next big event. I can't wait for this holiday to happen, or I can't wait for football season to start, right? Or I can't wait for the next vacation, or I can't wait for this next big event. We live event to event and big moment to big moment. And a lot of us, we live this way, and I'm telling you, I have lived this way many, many times in my life where I'm just going from big thing to big thing, big moment to big moment. And what I'm learning about life in my old age, right, is that those moments never, ever fully satisfy me, ever. They're never enough, right? They're never enough for me. They're never, ever going to fully satisfy my soul like I think they will. That big event that I've waited to happen, that vacation or that purchase I've made or whatever it might be, I think it's going to be the next thing that's going to really, really make me feel how I'm supposed to feel, but it never works. It's always leaving me more thirsty and wanting more, and so I live big moment by big moment, just trying to get by, and I think a lot of us feel this today in our world that we live in. There's nothing wrong with big moments, though. I want you to understand something. Big moments are great. You know, when I was able to see my wife walk down the aisle and see her walk down towards me, that was a big moment. You should think that's a big moment. Amen, gentlemen? So, cool. Sweet, good talk. But anyway, you should think that's a big moment, right? I mean, it's huge when you see your bride walk down the aisle. It's awesome to see in that moment when I married Jessica that, you know, to see my daughters walk down with her at the same time. That's a moment, you know, that will forever be burned into my mind. And when I saw my son born, it was just weird. I felt like I was like on another planet, you know, it was weird, like it doesn't even feel real, you know, like you're in a simulation, right? All the men, you're like, this is right, and all the ladies like, you have no idea what you're talking about, amen? So, but, you know, seeing my son being born, all the women are so mad at me right now that have had a kid, so forgive my ignorance. But for me, it was weird, and I got through it, okay? But seeing my son being born, seeing him take his first breath of life here outside the womb, I mean, it was remarkable. It's going to be forever etched into my soul. When I accepted Christ at the age of 11, I preached my first sermon at 15, graduating high school and college, and starting this church in March of 2007. I mean, there's a lot of big moments in my life, you know, they're big, and they should be celebrated. But what I want to present to you this morning, church, is that we live for these big moments, we ache for them, we chase them, but what we have to understand is that they are very much not what fills up our life, are they? The big moments are not. In fact, they're just a very small part of our lives. What I'm laying at your feet today is this, is that most of your life, 95% of your life will be spent doing the mundane, everyday, routine things that bore you to death, right? Most of your life will be spent doing repetitive, typical things that are day-to-day, that are ordinary, and maybe even a little mundane, or sometimes, as I already said, boring, right? That's probably 95% of your life if you really, really think about it. And what I am going to really lay before you today, and I'm asking you to consider, and hope the Holy Spirit will empower you to change your mind and how you think, is that all of those things that you consider mundane, all of those things that you consider repetitive, when you wake up every day, and the things that you consider boring and ordinary and regular and typical and routine to your life, the things that maybe drive you crazy, the things that you're dreading tomorrow, church, that 95% of your life is where God wants to redeem you the most. No amens. Cool. I got a long way to go. We're going to be here for a while, okay? So hang tight, all right? We're going to be here for a bit, okay? So this just got a lot longer because there was no response. So I need to get a drink of water too, so hang tight. But I'm telling you, church, listen, we have to understand that 95% of your life is going to be the everyday routine thing. Going to work, taking care of your home, raising your kids, trying to keep your marriage together. All the little things in this world that we just think are just what we have to do, what we have to, you know, every Monday starts the week over for us in our mind. Oh, Monday's here, I got to do this all week. And we get in this mindset that this is what I have to do. This is my repetition. This is my life, my day-to-day. And we get so caught up in just feeling like this is what we have to do. And church, listen, God wants to change your mindset on those routine things, those things that maybe you find a little bit obnoxious even, those things that drive you crazy, the things that you might consider even a little bit monotonous. God wants to use those things to sanctify you, okay? God wants to use your workplace to sanctify you and bring you closer to Him. God wants to use your parenting, your marriage, and your home, and your work, and your money, and all your relationships, the things that you just think are routine, and use those to sanctify you and draw you closer to Him. Amen? This is what He wants to do. And how does that happen? Well, it happens when you and I wake up and we realize that we can live every day intentionally for His glory. That, yeah, even when you go to a job that maybe you don't like, or maybe everything's not the way you want it to be all the time, that even in those difficult, hard moments, you can wake up every day and say, God, I'm giving this day to you. I'm giving it to you. It's all yours. I will worship you even in the difficulty. I will give this work day to you. I will give that meeting to you that I'm nervous about. I will give my marriage to you that feels a little uncertain. I will give my children to you. I'm gonna worship you today. I'm gonna serve you, and I'm gonna allow you to use these moments to sanctify me and make me closer to you. Because church, what happens when you do that is you and I get to do repetitive things with a joyful heart. I'm gonna say that again because that was awesome. Okay? I'm also very humble. Okay? But, all right? But when you change your mindset, you get to do repetitive work with a joyful heart. Okay? You just do. And when you change the way you think about your day, and that God doesn't waste your day, and that you've been given that bag of gold, you've been given that life to live for Him, you believe the truth that God does not waste your days, ever. Even that day at work that you dread, even the best day at work, all of it. God wants to use it all to sanctify you. Everybody in the room knows that Daniel is the best name in the whole Bible. Everybody knows this. It's in the Bible. It says it somewhere, right? My name's Daniel if you're new here. Okay? My mom gave me that name not for any special reason, just because there was some little boy down the street named Daniel, and she thought he was nice, and so she named me Daniel. This was before my mom was a Christian, so it's pre-Christian stuff. So anyway, but now it's been sanctified, so now it's a Bible name, right? So anyway, but the name Daniel means God is my judge. And immediately, as I was reading in a devotional just a few weeks back, and I wrote this down because I wanted to share it with you. It was so powerful. You know, when you hear the name Daniel, you immediately think Lion's Den, right? You think Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? You think King Nebuchadnezzar. You think King Darius. You think about all the prophecies and the visions that come out of the book of Daniel. And you see that whole book, and it's an incredible book, a confusing book at times, but also very clear at times. The book of Daniel is incredible. And if you study his life, it's going to tell us that Daniel likely lived about 86 years. Are you with me? 86 years is how long they believe Daniel lived his life. But the book of Daniel, that whole book, only outlines about 8 of his life events, 8 of them. 8 only. Okay? So the question was asked in this devotional, 86 years, and you have a book written about your life, and they only record 8 events of it. You know, what was he doing the rest of the time? He had these big moments recorded, these 8 or 9 big moments of his life recorded. What was spent with the other time, his 86 years? The curtain's pulled back a little bit, and we're being told that Daniel prayed, right? You all remember that verse from Daniel where it says that he would pray 3 times a day, right? And then it tells us that this was his habit. I love that, right? Amen? It says that this was his habit. This is what he did all the time. So while we only have a few events of Daniel's life documented in the scriptures, we are given one little statement to say, this is how he spent the rest of his time, by serving the Lord, amen? by doing the everyday things in God's heart and God's mind and doing it for the Lord. And you and I, we get caught up in trying to chase the big moments, the 8 or 9 big events in our lives. But the reality is that's not what life is about. Life is about repetition. Life is about getting up every day and sometimes doing the same things over and over again, habits and routine. And you and I, we need that. We need habits and we need routine because they form us and they shape us. And church, please know this. You know it. You just don't think about it enough, and neither do I. But our God's a God of routine, isn't he? Our God, as we studied last week, he's a God of rhythm and pattern. Amen? He causes the sun to rise. Aren't you glad the sun rose today? Right? Aren't you glad we had the sun rise? Aren't you glad that the moon will be over us this evening? Aren't you glad it's not going to be August forever? Okay, I know it's September, but what if it was August all the time? That would be horrible, right? Aren't you glad that we know that the seasons are going to change and that cooler weather is coming? I mean, this is how God operates. This is God's heart. He loves habit and repetition. He made the world to work this way. And you and I should not be surprised when we feel the angst of that as well, that we should be operating in rhythm and pattern and routine and repetition, and that we could do it for his glory. Amen? I love the great quote by G.K. Chesterton, and it's a long quote, but there's a small part of the quote about God's pattern and God's rhythm and his repetition. And Chesterton says something very, very much like this. It says that it's almost as if every single day God tells the sun, do it again. It's almost as if every evening God tells the moon, do it again. And maybe just today in this room where you're sitting, maybe that's all you need to hear from God today. Tomorrow, do it again. Rise again. And do it again. And the next day, do it again. And do it for my glory. Shine for me over and over again, every single day. Maybe that is all you need to hear today, is God say to you, do it again. Even if you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or even you've worked that long day, God would say, do it again. Do it for my glory. Don't bury what I've given you in the ground and live in fear. Don't take what I've given you and hide it and withhold it from the world. Live for me, give it to me, and I will multiply what I've given you. Praise the Lord. Amen. Church, God does not waste your days. And so even the redundant, repetitive things, the sun rising, the moon casting its light over us, it's essential, isn't it? It's essential for us. And just like that, our everyday habits, they're essential for our sanctification and our growth. And church, what I want you to know this morning in the clearest of ways is that you and I, we've got to let go of the mindset that I just need the big thing to happen. I've got to have this next big thing occur. I want to be in the spotlight. I want to have this light on me. I want this to happen. I want this big thing to occur in my life. And understand, church, that God works in the unseen and unspectacular places. Okay? Where was our Savior born? Right? Let's think about it. Think about where Jesus started his ministry. Think about how God works. He works in the places that we don't expect, the places that the world would never, ever look to, the small, quiet places, the place where nobody is really paying attention. Because what really is the truth of today's sermon is that you and I need to understand that the little things you do every day are the big things. Because you and I, we want the big things. We want the big things to happen. But God's saying the little things are the most important. And Jesus said it clearly. Trust me when I say this, that if you can take care of the small things, you will get larger things. And let me be blunt, and this might sting, but some of us, we don't have larger things because we don't take care of the smaller things. It's just that simple. You cannot be trusted with small things. Why would God give you more? It's as certain as gravity. It's a spiritual truth. Jesus said, well done to the 5 talented man, the 5 bags of gold, the 2 bags of gold. Well done, because you have made an investment. You've returned it for my glory. I want to read this quote to you from Pastor Rick Warren. And he's talking about the little things and the big things. I'm going to read just a part of this, and we'll wrap this up. And he just says some really powerful things here, that God uses the little things to test your integrity. He says, we think it's the big things in life that create us, that make us big, that make us who we are. But he said, no, it's the big crises in our life that reveal who we are. It's the big things that reveal what's inside of us. He says, integrity shows up when big things happen. But it's in the small stuff, the stuff that nobody sees, behind the scenes and the unseen, and the small choices you make every day when nobody's looking, when nobody's watching you. That's where your integrity is built. That's where your faithfulness happens. And that's where God tests what your integrity is really like. I think we get so in love, church, with the public spectacle sometimes of Christianity, and we want to be maybe publicly recognized, or we want to be seen for this or seen for that. But God is saying, look, I don't care about your public spectacle. I care about your private integrity. That's what he's saying today. The small things, who you are. And we live in this ridiculous time, especially in the political world, where we just say ridiculous things like, oh, I don't care what they do in their private life. It doesn't matter to me what they do in their private life. That's between them, and I just care what they look like publicly. I mean, we say these things. Is that true? It's not true. Okay? We all know deep down in our core that our private life, the small things, are really what make us. Amen, church? Okay. They are the things that really grow our integrity. This is where we're sanctified every day by the repetitive decisions that we make every single day. Praise the Lord. I want to end with this, and I'm going to pray with you. I hope you'll lean into this conclusion because it's one that is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And I know that I've even personally shared this with some of you one-on-one. I was listening to the great pastor and teacher Francis Chan some months back, and he presented a question in a sermon I'd never had asked before, and it was profound to me. And the question was very simple, and it was basically asked, why don't we have more record of what Jesus' life was like when he was a teenager? Why is there no more information about what his life was like when he was in his 20s? We have basically, he was born, right? And then he got lost in the temple and kind of talked back to his mom a little bit, and then that's it, right? I mean, that's kind of the story we have from Jesus' life, okay? I'll let y'all read that and see if I'm telling you the truth or not. But we don't have a whole lot of that. There's not a lot of information about Jesus in his adolescent years and teenage years and his 20s. But then when he hits the ministry trail, right, when he hits 30, I mean, John says there's not enough books in the world to contain all that he did, all right? So the question is what was Jesus doing till he was 30? What was he up to? And Francis Chan just says, I can tell you what he was up to. He was working. He was getting ready for the greater work that God had before him. And he had his head down. He was working. He didn't care who saw him. He didn't care about that. Because he knew the greater work was on the cross. Amen, church? Some of us, we have to understand that we're waiting for our big moment. We're waiting for the next big thing. And God's just telling you today to get to work. To stop hiding it. And just do the very best you can every day. Not to put what he's given you in the ground. But to live for it every day. To wake up every day when your eyes open and say, I'm going to live for you. And I'm going to do it for your glory. And I'm not going to do it for my own glory. And I'm going to double what you gave me. And I'm going to take what you've given me and I'm going to invest it. And I'm going to realize that you do not waste any of my days. Praise the Lord. Amen, church. Okay. Let me pray for you. Let me pray for you. Lord, thank you for your word this morning, and I know that you're going to try to do a lot of different things in this room, and I just pray most importantly that if we hear your voice today, we would not harden our hearts. Lord, I ask that we would redeem our days right now with your power. The days that we find routine, the days that we find boring, monotonous, the days that maybe overwhelm us with maybe just repetitiveness. And I pray, Lord, that we would realize that that's going to be the majority of our life in reality. And I pray that we would do all of those things, Lord, with you in mind, and we would do them with excellence, and we would do them with grace and mercy, knowing that, Lord, even when we're washing the dishes, or when we're sitting at our desk tomorrow, or when we're mowing the grass, or we're making that phone call at work, or we're having dinner with our families, Lord, that those are the moments that you want to sanctify us. And I pray that we would stop chasing just the big moment, the next big thing, and that we would realize that the small things are the big things. The little things are so important, and they're going to be the majority of our life. And I pray we would do them well. Lord, if we've buried our gifts, I pray we would dig them up today and display them. Lord, that we would not hide them any longer. Lord, that we would no longer be living in fear of failure or fear of disappointment, Lord, but we would just go out every day when our eyes open and we know we're alive and you've given us another day and our conscience is there, that we would do it all for you and for your glory. And Lord, as the sun rises every morning and the moon comes over us, Lord, that you tell it to do it again. And I pray that we would hear those words today, do it again. When we wake up in the morning, we would hear your voice, do it again. Do it for me, do it for my glory. Help us to hear that today. Encourage us, Lord, that we can bring glory to you in the routine, in the boredom of this world sometimes, in the monotony of it. Help us believe that today and know that you want to sanctify us and grow us through it. And I finally pray today, as your word says in Psalm 90:12, Lord, that you would teach us to number our days so we would have a heart of wisdom. Help us to make the days count. Number our days, Lord, so we can have wisdom to live every day on purpose. We love you, Lord, and we thank you. I give this time to you now and give these great people to you in Jesus' name. Church, this time is yours. We'd love to pray with you and over you. And if you'd love to come have a seat, we'd love to lay hands upon anybody that needs that. If you want to come and chat with me up front with prayer, I'd love to pray with you. We have staff that's in the back of the room as well that would love to be with you. We have elders throughout the room that are available for you as well. Maybe just a friend sitting next to you need to pray with. Whatever it might be, I pray that God would redeem your days, you would no longer hide what he's given you. I love you so much. This time is yours. pray with me? Father, I just pray that we would cooperate with you as we leave this place today. I pray that you would deal with our hard hearts and our stubbornness, Lord, and be patient with us, and pray that we would be empowered by the Holy Spirit to carry out the things, Lord, that you've convicted us about today, and the desires that maybe you've placed in our heart, Lord. I pray that we would not try to do those on our own, but that we would do them with other people and with the help of your power through your Holy Spirit. Lord, I pray that we would know that no matter what we do this week, that you are wanting to use those moments to sanctify us, whether we are at work or at home. The smallest act of folding the laundry or typing an email or putting our kids to bed. Whatever it might be, Lord, those are the moments that are a gift. And I pray that we would never, ever think of them as anything else but that. May we redeem the time, Lord. May we redeem those moments in a way that we use them for your glory. Help us to dig up what we've put down in the ground, Lord, and use it for your glory this week. We need your help with that, Lord, and give us the strength to do it. Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our sins, Lord, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. And everyone said, amen. Amen. All right. I want to thank you for being here today. It's been awesome to be in God's house, and I just want to